All right. Um, I my face is covering your face, but I fixed it. Um, all right. Oh shit! I'm also hearing myself from somewhere.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, hopefully that's not an issue. Huh. Um.
You want to hit me with that stream URL, or did you already do that?
I will give it to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Maybe we'll just chop this little first few minutes off of this thing, but I need to figure out where my voice is coming from.
For sure.
I think I,
So is this a question,
I
I
think
guess,
I
is this
figured
a
it out.
recording or are we live streaming?
Yeah, I did. I figured it out.
Okay,
I'm
good.
all good. Oh wait, nope. What the hell? All right, that's some funny shit.
What's
It
up?
was coming from my laptop. I don't know if my laptop was open on the YouTube page or what was going on, but
That's
uh,
fun.
that was it. Okay, so let's get going, dude. You, prior to this, told me that your vector sequencer barfed, took some kind of nosedive, and isn't working, right?
So yeah, I was
I can't
messing
hear you
around with some
now.
stuff. Of course you really
Oh my
at
gosh,
all.
this
You
is so
can't.
weird. Hold on one moment. Now I can't hear. It looks like the video is going, but I just can't hear you. Oh, I.
That's weird.
No, it's fine. I just fucking muted myself. That's all is good. I hit
Dude, I'm
mute
fucking
before when I was trying to figure out where the extra noise was coming from.
I'm telling you, dude, this stream isn't meant to be.
I know, right? Lots of technical issues today. So, but you know what? I mean, honestly, 5 minutes of technical issues, that's since the stream started. That's pretty good. But, a good half hour of technical issues prior.
Yeah, and audio is hard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It is.
So
Audio.
so yeah, last night I was messing around with some of the stuff that I gleaned from the last stream, and everything was going great. Playing around with the repeats and the chance operators and stuff like that. Um, went to power it on for this, and a pink light showed up. Nothing else happened. That's it.
Interesting.
There's the lights under or on top of the like the encoders,
Yeah.
the part encoders. Yeah, they're just all whatever color the default channel is.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay. All right.
uh,
So let's take a look at it. Why don't we boot into
yeah,
disk mode and upgrade the firmware? Um, uh, we'll boot into disk mode, yeah, and then upgrade the firmware. So to boot into disk code, into disk mode, just so viewers know, you need a USB cable, the printer type, the one that's like in the top left over here. Yeah, that one. So exactly. Um, and you plug that in to your vector and the other end into your computer and hold down shift and uh, turn on the power. And then boom, USB disk mode. Once that happens, you should see the drive on your computer's desktop. At which point, sorry that we're not showing this, but VCLoki will do it. The firmware that you downloaded from the 512's forum website, if it's decompressed, then you grab vector.bin, and you drop that on the vector on your computer and overwrite the old one. And then eject that on your computer. Let me know when you're done there, dude.
I am done. I have copied and overwritten the file.
Okay.
And it's been ejected.
Cool. So turn your power off now. You are welcome to detach the cable now if you want, or you could keep it. It's up to you. All right. So hold down record. Turn on the power. And you are in bootloader mode. You can let go of record now. So basically what you want to do is hit next on the bottom left. It says press next to load firmware. Go for it. All right. So it's going to erase the old firmware. It shouldn't touch any of your other files, your sequences or anything like that. All right. And boom, there you go. So go ahead and click global just to confirm that you're on. Yep, there it is, firmware 2.9.49. Now, this is a beta firmware, so I don't know what happened with your machine last night. I wasn't there, who knows? Neither of us really know what it was, but regardless, it's not the end of the world if something like that happens. It's pretty easy to resolve and get fixed. I think both of our vectors are at the same BPM right now, so. So that's it. You have upgraded your firmware. You're good to go. Do you want to start a new project?
Yes. One moment.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to. I got magically signed out of everything. You rat bastard. Sorry.
Yeah.
I also can't type at this angle. Come on. Thank you. Okay. Cool. Okay. So let's see here. And we'll go ahead and just load this new project.
All right.
One moment. I do have to make some changes. Because I believe it's here. No. There it is. Okay. Much better.
All right.
I was using external sync last night, and it didn't pick up that it was supposed to be back to internal.
I get it. That's cool. All right then. So you have a new project. Um,
Mhm.
uh, I hit part real quick. All right. So let me ask you, um,
Yeah.
what outputs do you usually use for, I don't know, let's say a melodic voice? Like let's just say your piston Honda. Which outputs on the vector would you use for that?
So it really depends on what's taking precedence in the performance I'm doing, like what's going to be the main melodic source. That'll always go into output one
Mm-hmm.
for pitch, velocity, and gate. Um, but lately, I've found myself actually patching like my life forms into the uh, uh, the Jove from the first one. So I'll just
Okay.
usually the first honestly I try to squeeze all of them in because I don't with the way that I do stuff, I don't really like to adjust with pitch and stuff like that for my drums at all. It's usually
Right. Okay.
static, all that.
Yeah.
So I tend to set up a drum part and use
I got it.
parts 7 and 8 as the two trigger lanes.
And the gate outs on the jack expander for that. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay. So I guess let's set up the Jove then, but before you
gotcha.
start patching anything or the Jove and the life forms, hit global once.
Yeah, got it.
And then hit um, uh, hit the next button. I think it's the next button. Yeah, awesome, great, cool. You are now on part one. Turn
Hmm.
the top encoder, or yeah, turn that encoder to the left actually. So no, yeah, yeah, part one. That's fine. Turn the top encoder to the left
This one, okay, then okay,
or right or something. Where there it is. There it
okay,
is to the right.
okay. So
Okay, so cool. Now you could like put this in as, I don't know, life forms, or maybe you want to call it bass or melody or whatever it is that you want to call it. There you go.
trying to do this without blocking the scene.
Oh, you're fine. I can see everything pretty well. You know.
Oh, actually,
I think if you
will let me
scroll
take
all
one
the
off.
way to the right,
There we go.
it's blank. Yeah, there you go. And now the main encoder. I think if you turn it to the left
There we
and go
go.
back to page one, you're set. So now if you click part, the blue, yeah, and it looks like part one is selected, and now it's called Jove, instead of part one. You know,
Mhm.
I now you can name. We went over this the last time. You can name these whatever you want, and you can even name presets if you want to name all the presets. I find that naming the parts is really useful. So I don't have to do it every single time. I usually save a template and then I will
Mhm.
open that template. But um, if you want to edit something in that template and move things around, you just save a new version of it and go from there.
Right.
So, okay, I guess patch, pitch, gate, um, uh, envelope, gate to envelope, envelope to VCA, pitch or oscillator to filter, blah 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 blah.
So I'll take a second.
Yeah, that's okay. It's no biggie while you're doing that. In fact, I wonder. Uh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna talk about quite a few things today if we can. Keep patching. Maybe tell people what you're patching while you're patching it.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah, that's
gonna
how it is.
I'm gonna step away for just a sec. All right.
All right, sounds good. So I've gotten to the point now. I'm just patching the Jove out into the
All right. That's
VCA,
some funny shit.
and I believe let me trace the connections. So I've got pitch and gate. Pitch goes out to the life forms. The two outs go into the Jove. Out goes into the VCA. Gate goes into envelope one. Which I need to adjust this name again. To VCA input one. Out goes. Okay. That all looks good. Really need to set up one of these. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The way I like to do things, from a sequencing standpoint is I like to go with the rhythm first before the tone or the notes. So again, sorry, my hands are in the way. I haven't done this very much. Set it. I've got the sustain wide open on the envelope, so it's mostly controlled by the gate length. I'm gonna test to see if I get audio first before I turn it up and blast the area.
I'm back. That's good.
I am not getting audio as expected because, today.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That's everything is just as difficult as possible today. Uh, hey, do me a favor. Take a look at your presets on the top right, the blue button. Click it one more time. Click preset one more time. Okay, so they're all in there. Click part once on the left. All right, so that's nothing's muted. It's all enabled. So you can go back to gates where you were and doing whatever you were doing.
Envelope is firing.
Okay, so you see the envelope firing. That's cool.
Out. We're just not gonna bet.
Yeah.
Y'all, if you're gonna patch stuff with audio, as I said, audio is hard.
Yeah.
Make sure you patch the audio out to everything.
It's always something ridiculous like that. Like so just like the most stupid user error you can imagine. It's always that, like
100%.
yeah.
I'm still not. Oh my god, I hate this. We tested this before. Inputs. I've lost all audio. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. Let's do this the right way. Get out of here. Rewiring my audio interface. Give me a second.
Oh.
This is stupid. There we go. All right. I think I see something. All right. Audio. Doing something. There we go. Can you hear that?
I did. I heard a couple little beeps real quick.
I can't hear it on my own, so I don't know.
Oh my gosh, you know what's so funny? I only hear it when you're talking.
You're kidding me.
I'm not. I don't think I am kidding you. Be quiet for a moment.
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah, it drops. It keeps dropping. So yeah,
that's ridiculous.
it is what it is. I I'm not overly concerned with it.
I can always just switch the audio interface while I'm demoing. Not an issue there.
Um,
My
if you
instead of you.
Yeah, I mean, if you think it's something that'll work, go for it. But uh, how long do you think it'll take you?
Nope, that didn't work.
All right. Well, you know what? I mean, it was really gonna just be a little bit of review. Um,
Yeah, honestly.
yeah. So maybe maybe we flip over to my screen and start hopping into um, uh, some of the other
Let's
things that
do
we
it.
have to talk about. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Bring up a view of your face so we can see that. I would love that. Um, all right. Uh, Here we go. I am currently in a project where I'm doing some weird shit. So, and maybe I'll talk about that in a little while, but right now, I think it might be best to start a new project um, and save that new project as too new. Just make it quick. I don't need to spend a lot of time doing
Right.
anything there. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to enable my kick, and I'm going to enable a couple gates and see if we got this sucker working. Looks like things are working. Can you hear boom boom?
Yes. Boom, boom.
All right, cool. Great. Um, Let me see. Um, I was really messing around with a lot of things last night, so I just want to be sure none of it's too out of control right now. There we go. Turn that down. And let's turn that down for a sec. Okay. I'm going to tighten up that kick a little bit so that it's not so boomy. Um, so we went through pretty much every single button on the top the last time. There are a few things that we did not go through, some of them in this control page here. So if I go back to my parts and I hit mute real quick and I enable. Oops. All right. So I guess there's something there already. Let's turn that off. Okay, so and there seems to be also a lot of effects and things on that right now. Let's reduce that a little bit. And we're okay. Okay, cool. So all I want to do here is let's actually go back to the kick real quick, and we'll get 4 on the floor. I'm gonna turn the velocity on the first one up a little bit and go down on. Okay, Cool. And in fact, just as a quick refresher, it'd be nice to have a little bit of variation on the kick every so often. So I'm going to turn on a gate here. Right now, the gate length doesn't matter because the input on the ultra kick is just a trigger, so it's not really doing anything. I'm going to go to chance operations and I'm going to put it onto unmute. And I go to the probability section and I'm going to turn it to 100%. And then I'm going to go to the pattern and I'm actually going to put it on, maybe I'll put it on 3 right now because that should make things a little off kilter. But then I have to go back here and mute that. And there it is. On the next one. There it is. Okay, so we got a little kick going. Let's go to my mixer. I want to look at volume a little bit here. I'm going to turn the gain up a tiny bit. Ooh, crackle, crackle, crackle. That doesn't sound good. All right, cool. And now I'm going to go back to the Piston Honda. So by hitting part, and for me it's PH, which is just on part 5. And then control. So this is your sequence control page. We talked about this being the top level page where you have the length of your sequence, the direction. We didn't mess around with the direction last time. We can do that today maybe, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's forward, backwards. Alt 1 means it goes to the end and plays that and then goes back, I think. Alt 2 means it goes to the end and then goes back. Or I might have gotten those reversed. Either way, one of them plays the last note twice before going backwards. And then rand is just rand. And that's really it for your directions. It's kind of cool though. It can be fun to switch things up real quickly. So on the next page of control, which is really where I want to be, sequence control 2, there's a whole ton of options here. More specifically right now, I'll go through these in a bit. Maybe not on this voice, maybe on this voice, I don't know. The free run sections, but I wanted to show these generators here. So this, it says gen, which means generator, and evo, which means evolve. Acid 1, which is a set of rules and parameters that Jim at Five12 set up to algorithmically generate a line that sounds like an acid line. There's a 2, a 3, a 4. So there's 4 of those, 4 different types. And each one has its own flavor, really. So in order to use that generator, if you look down here on the bottom, the third white button in vertically, it says gen. And to use that, you have to hold shift. So if I do that and I hit it, we're going to generate a line, and then I'll go back to the pitch and gate and show you what it looks like. Boom. Instant music. So on the pitch, it looks like things are centered at around the 5th and 4th octaves with a hitting 3 here. And the gates, just a whole bunch of gates with a few ties in there. But nothing particularly fancy going on. Now, if you don't like that and you want to hear a different one, do it again. Yes.
Drop the volume on the system.
You got it. I'm I'm actually happy you said that because it was a little bit too loud in my ears too. Anyway, so I just wasn't sure what it was coming through like. Can you still hear it?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So you could just keep hitting Gen endlessly, man. Gen. And you just get lots of different variations. So if I go to Acid 2, it's just a different set of rules to algorithmically generate something. I'm going to do that. So you hear there's a bunch of slews or glides basically in there. That's kind of one of the features of Acid 2 versus Acid 1. Now I'm not going to go through every single one of these. I encourage everyone to explore all of them. Here's Acid 4. But then it keeps going through some other ones. Berlin 1, 2, 3, 5, which basically means thirds, fifths, and sevenths. Oblique 1 and 2, random, goes through a few. Euclidean generators, this is typically better to use with the drum patterns. And then there's a bunch of new ones that got added in the newer beta firmware, and I've not used any of these. Let's see what the hell heavy is. I have no idea. That's interesting. Okay. Well, it is what it is. I'm gonna go though to let's go to Berlin 1 for now, and I'm gonna hit generate. Okay, I just wanted to shorten the gates on that. So, when you have something like this, and you're like, okay, I kind of like this, right? But I wouldn't mind changing it slightly, right? And that's what Evo is, it's evolve. So if I hold shift now, I'll be quiet for a few seconds so you can hear the line, and then I'll hit Evo, and then you can hear the difference. Might be a little bit easier to hear if it's a little higher pitched. I should have used a different voice, but whatever.
You can still do this while pitch is showing, right?
I don't think so. Oh, apparently you can. Wow. Neato. I had no idea. That's very cool. So, also in the beta firmware, there's a way to undo things. So if you haven't saved and you haven't switched to a different pattern, or preset, I'm on AO1 right now, and it's not saved because there's a little dot inside that disk, then I can undo. And honestly, I have no idea what the key command is for that. Hey, can you look in the notes, VCLoki, and tell me what it is? I think it's like previous shift, maybe shift Q previous. I don't remember. Let's see. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and try that. Shift Q previous. No. Shift previous. No, that just resets everything.
Q previous or edit previous to undo changes to the current preset.
Oh, interesting. So Q previous. Wow. It took us all the way back to the first thing that I had entered on this.
Ew, so it dumps back to the first.
Yeah, it doesn't not, which makes sense. It goes back to whatever is saved in that particular category. So it's like you can endlessly evolve, and then if you want to return back to this, you hit Q in previous, which I think is the best way to do it, because personally I wouldn't want to overwrite something that I've spent a lot of time on by mistake without having that as an option.
Also kind of feels performable as well, right? So you can dump a bunch of evos, hit the drop, and then undo it back to the save.
Totally. Yeah. Here, 357. I wonder if I just hit Evo now, what happens? Nothing. Oh no! Check it out.
Go back to the page.
Yeah. So right now I've got some weird shit happening with my velocity and envelope. So based on the velocity level, the envelope is reversing for the filter. So I'll just kind of turn these all up for now. That's pretty cool. Evo. And Q, we're gonna go back, but it's gonna reset the velocity levels too, I bet. That's pretty fun. I like it. I like it. Cool. So Oblique is, man, I like Oblique 2 a little bit better than 1, but they're completely insane what they do. I'm gonna do it on the kick, just because I often will do this with drums, and I'm just going to go to Oblique 2. You can explore Oblique 1 on your own. If we look right now, there was that. In fact, I'll go to a different preset just so we can start from scratch. This preset is 8 steps right now. I'll bring it up to 16, and the rate is 16th notes. So 16 steps as 16th notes, and Oblique 2. And if I hit shift and gen and I go back, now I have some gates here. But this is where shit's going to get really weird. Let me show you pitch for a second. So pitch is all over the place. As you can see, it's just, and a lot of it's very high. And the gates are kind of all over the place. But this, I'm going to hit run first, because what you see is not what you're going to get. And I'll show you why. Oh, let's mute the... Okay, so that sounds crazy, right? First thing I want to do to make this useful is I bring them all down to a single pitch level for whatever I want the kick to be. The velocities for now, I'm going to bring them all up, because it also Oblique randomizes and does weird things with the velocities, but what it really does a lot of strange things with is the timing. All right, so in here now, it's just, I mean, this is insane. The first one's 3 steps, you know, the third one's 2/3, 2, 1, 1/7. It's just crazy. And it sounds a bit like noise. But you can hear a rhythm.
Every 2.
All right, so it's I look for where the notes stick. So here, here, and here they're sticking. So I'm gonna turn these off.
Hey, dude, scoot back a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. So what I mean by stick is where the LED hangs, and you can obviously just open up length right now and see that on 323, and then 1/5. I don't need that. And then I can go in here and I can go, okay, so 2, 1, 3. So 10, 11, 13, and 16, right? And then everything else is turned off. 13 and 16. So now I have this really weird off-kilter kick, right? Which is pretty freaking cool, in my opinion. So I try to listen for where this starts. I think it starts on 10. So if I hold shift and then over here you'll see SH-L, SH-R. That's shift left and shift right. I'm going to turn 10 into step 1. So I'm going to shift that. All right, so there it is. And one more and we're done. So now I have this weird ass rhythm, and all of those like really fast little clicky ones in there, they're still going at that speed. So the timing in between these kicks and elements can be super fast, but they hold for a particular length. So another cool thing that I'm going to be showing you, because this is the reason I'm doing all this right now, is not to show you how I might build a song or something like that. But if you take anything from that, great, good for you. And I'm happy. But it's more, I wanted to show you things like generate, evolve, shift left, shift right, and how you manipulate sequences, stuff that's a little bit deeper than what we did on all the top level pages. And right now, what I want to do is I want to copy this exact rhythm over to the Ultra Perk, right? So you'll notice on here, it says copy over here on the right. So if I hold shift, click, oh, wait, that did a select. Hold on. Let me, how do I unselect all of these? Nope, that's not it. Oh, great. Okay, now I've got everything selected. Okay. So let me see. Why did that not work? There is a. Typically, it's weird. Up here, it used to have a skip, select, edit. Okay. I don't know why. Maybe there's another key command. But there used to be a hint up here for copying stuff, and I just don't see it anymore in this particular firmware. So I have no idea how to do it. Maybe it. Oh, you know what? I think it's edit and copy. Edit, copy. Nope, that just selected again. Just selected everything.
It's shift select, switch parts, shift skip.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. But what's weird is it's selecting and it's not copying. So let's stop. Maybe it's because I'm pretty sure you can do it while it's running, but maybe it's because that was never saved to that pattern. So let's go ahead and do shift copy. See, now it's just selecting everything. Shift copy, and then what was it to paste? Skip, shift skip.
Skip.
Okay. And edit doesn't come into it anywhere, huh?
Not that I'm seeing. I'm still looking though.
I'm gonna shift edit. No, shift edit doesn't do shit. Shift select, shift select, shift select, shift select.
It's an old post though from 2018.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna just go to a new pattern, and now see, now it's whatever. There must be another key command, because when I hold down shift, all it's doing is these, for every step, it's doing this top label, skip, mute, select, when I hold shift instead. So I don't know, that's really unfortunate. Copy and paste for me.
No, I think you're right. I found it in the manual.
Okay.
Hold edit and press select to copy the preset. Then move to the next preset. Hold edit and press skip to paste the preset.
Edit, select.
And you can also copy presets between parts as long as the destination part has the same sequence type, mono, chord, or drum, and the same size.
Yeah.
16, 32, or 64.
Yeah, which is exactly how I do things usually, but it's not happening. So like all I see right now is I hold edit and I click copy, and it just selects everything. I mean, I'll go to another thing and I'll do edit paste and see skip. I don't know what the freaking hell the deal is. Maybe there is a setting that I don't have on. Possibly, is that possible? So I don't really see anything there, and then auto load, save, follow, no, on stop, clear is.
Hold on. Oh, go to preset real quick.
Preset.
Okay.
Oh, there. Oh my God, there it is. Duh.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that screen, and that's what my problem has been. But there's the little thing that tells you, copy is edit plus select. Edit, select. Oh my God. Now it says paste, edit, skip. And I go to AO3 and I go edit, skip. But look at that. It says AO2. You see that? So they match up now. That's fine, but it's hard to keep in your head. So if you hit the previous button, what I do is I just bring it back up to AO3. All right. And that's good. So I just copied that from there to there, but I didn't want to do that. I want to copy it to the other page, actually. So it's edit, select, and up, and we'll go to spot. Actually, I'll go to spot 3 since I copied 3. Then it'll stay AO3. I don't have to rename it again. Edit, skip. I think that should be all in there now. Yes, it is. And actually, I can deselect everything real quick. So now I should have exactly the same thing, but with a snare. I'm going to turn off the snare's large amount of effects.
You may want to drop it down on that a little bit too.
Yeah. So that's not. I mean, there's an interesting thing happening here. Cool, it's fun if you want them to exactly repeat each other. But the reason I did this wasn't so I could have the same exact pattern. It was so I could have the same exact sequence length, right? And the same exact speed on all of these, the length and repeat. So as far as the gates go, I don't really give a crap about this right now and where they are, right? Now what I would do is just try to find a place where I like a gate, right? I mean, that's all right. A little boring. Oh, that's better. That's good. I like that. All right, we'll keep it on 8 for now. But you get it, right? Like, you get where I'm going with this. So copy paste, which took us a while. It's been a while since I've actually not used the vector for I don't know, a little while. I had a little side journey with the Ableton push as a sequencer for modular, and that did not work out so great. So I'm back to my favorite sequencer again. Okay, so we were talking generate, and we got some weird ass patterns going on. I'm actually gonna go ahead and get things kind of normal up in here for a second. And I'm gonna reduce the noise decay. Okay. All right. So now I think what would be interesting, where was I? Oh yeah. Okay. Let's talk about free run over here. I think I showed you it with the gate the last time, how you can decouple pitch from the gates, which is really cool, right? I actually asked Jim once he made that. I was like, wow, that's great. Can you do that with velocity? and he was like, yeah, I think I could do that. So I really appreciate him doing that. Thank you, Jim. That was awesome. But the reason I wanted it, I will show you exactly why I wanted it. So here we go. I'm on the Metalloid right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a bunch of gates in, and I'm going to enable that. And I'm going to turn it down. And I'm going to make it so some people wanted to know if Metalloid could make hi-hats because all they hear are people doing weird noises with it, which it excels at weird noises. It's quite amazing at doing things like that. I love it for that myself. But yeah, it can make really fucking good sounding hats, you know? All right, so I'm gonna stick there for now. That's fine with me. This is a pretty boring hi-hat thing right now. Velocity is all even, right? So instead of going through and programming an individual velocity for all of this right now, for everything, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and let's see. I'm gonna do it 6 steps. All right. So here we go. We got 6 steps on the velocity. If I click velocity, this should now see how it's going between 1 and 6. But if I go back to gate, it's going through and it'll go to the next page and then go through again. So I have 16 steps right now, but only 6 steps of velocity. And that is so I can do now I add some freaking groove to this thing, which is great. And I don't have to, like, if you, the reason this is useful is because quite often when people are programming velocity and maybe they have a 16-step pattern for their hats, right? But on step 15, you just really want a ratchet. So every time it goes through, that's why you have 16 steps. Otherwise, you may as well make this a 4-step sequence because every single note is just hitting on a 16th note. But with that, when you're programming velocity, like I don't have to go through and program velocity for every single one of these damn things now. I can go in and I can turn it down to 4, and we can go in here and I can do and you can get all sorts of different grooves. Personally, I like it better when it's off from 16 steps and doesn't divide evenly into 16 steps, because then that increases the overall length of your sequence and the dynamics and the realism a bit. Yeah, so that is free velocity, free running velocity, which is just awesome in my opinion. And I assume, there's all sorts of different things that you can do with this. I mean, especially if velocity is controlling other parameters other than actual amplitude right now. Like I have it controlling amplitude at the moment on my hi-hats because it just works. All right, let's chill that out a little bit. We did free gate. So I'm probably gonna skip fills for right now. Mostly because I haven't used them an awful lot, and I feel like it'd be better for me to use them a little bit more before trying to stumble through how fills work. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah. All right. I could do it. I mean, I'm pretty good at stumbling, but I don't really think there's any reason. Um, I was thinking. So let's do a couple other things. Maybe we'll do another thing with pitch, um, which could be interesting. Let's enable the Hertz donut, and we don't have anything going on right now, but I'm going to go ahead and use generator. I'm going to use 357. And I think I'm gonna have to look into that. I thought that those were related. The randomized settings were related to the generators, which I think they might be, maybe. So I don't know if randomize actually does anything when you turn it up to a regular sequence. Let's actually go ahead and find out real quick. Let's turn off those guys for a moment, and we'll do a whole bunch of things there. I gotta check my Hertz donut real quick, make sure that I am on a proper setting. All right, that's pretty slow. Let's go up to 16ths. And I have to turn off those effects. Okay, there we go. I'll leave a little bit of reverb on it. That's fine. And I know you're going to ask me, so I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit. Okay. So the envelope I have on this right now is a little bit soft in its attack. That's just the envelope that I have, no particular reason. I'll leave it there for now, but let's see what the hell. Those do. Look at that. Let's you can really hear it if I'll shorten up. You hear how crazy that is in timing? That's kind of interesting. So this is like adds sort of a random humanization to everything. That's pretty neat. I've never used that before, mostly because, as I said, I could have sworn it was related to the generators and what the generator does. All right, so I'm gonna generate. Meh. Nope. Okay, I like that one. I mean, I like it enough. Okay. So, yeah, pitch. That's what we were gonna do. Right now, on the global, I'm in C minor. You can hear how everything's changing a bit right now because we're in E mixolydian. D flat Phrygian, D Dorian. I'll stay in D Dorian for now here, but you can do that on a per voice basis. So if you wanted to do like polyharmonies, polyharmonic stuff, it's totally possible with this. You can do that. I don't consider myself a skilled enough composer and musician to do that, but I'm sure that there are plenty of you out there that could do that. There's also in the tunings, which is kind of neat. I'm gonna change this particular scale to C major. You can do these are named different than they used to. Oh my. Oh man, there's a lot of things in this particular beta that I just haven't seen yet. There's a lot of really cool tunings in here. I remember this being like just normal or just intonation and maybe one other. I don't remember seeing like these microtonal scales. 31 tet. That's kind of awesome. All right, I'm getting out of here. So you have tuning also that you can do on these. If you want to turn this off and go back to what was set in the global, you just turn it left until they are muted. So that is another deeper thing that's in the sequence control pages on this particular page. And we just went through that and learned that together. That was kind of cool, and learned that together. I'm happy that I'm always learning new things about this, you know. Okay, so this is all moved too because there are a lot more options than there used to be. But this is basically how things are synced. I have mine set to bar, and that's so when I'm in the scene mode, if I have like AO1 there and AO2 there, and I am playing and I have the kick going, and then I go down here and I hit Q, and we get back to my weird kick pattern. This will start exactly on the measure. It'll wait until the measure is finished. You see how it blinked there? Like, I'll hit it fast right now. So that blink, watch. And then it goes when it's done. So, when the bar is complete, basically. That's what this means, bar sync. So you can have it to just immediately happen. Here we go. Watch. Oh, that's weird. Is there like some global thing or something? That should just immediately happen. Maybe it's just inside the presets.
Sounds like it's doing it now.
It's definitely, yeah, it's going quicker, but it does seem to be waiting for something. Well, wait a second, now I'm on preset sync bar again. Oh my gosh, I was over on the Hertz Donut. Here, watch now. So now it will switch immediately. On the beat is basically whatever the beats are set to, and there's 16th notes. So right now that's when this will change. So, but I find when you're performing, it's easier to let it swap things for you. So I almost always leave it to bar. So the reset on preset change, you can turn it off. If you're doing like some polymetric or stuff, then you might want this so that you can transfer from one preset to another without resetting the position of the sequence. But I haven't found an enormous amount of uses for that. So that's the way I do it right now. This is just there's your everything's selected again for some reason, which is fine. But velocity right now, oops, sorry. there's velocity, and if I go in here and I show you that, and I go here, now velocity is a numerical value, right? So you can get in there and do what you need to. 0 to 5. It's just arbitrary numbers. For me, it doesn't really matter. I prefer the bar. It allows me to quicker see the relationships between the notes. The numbers, I mean, you can see the relationships, but since it's not visual, I don't know, it's just the way my brain works. It doesn't work for me. Um, uh, Chance bar pattern, chance bar mode pattern. So let's go to bar and let's go to chance and okay, because I actually don't know what this one does. Pattern. Oh wait, is that bar pattern? I don't. I do not know what that means. Maybe that's when the chances happen, because I don't think it's a. It's definitely not a. It's not a visual thing the way velocity is. I think it's more like these two. I just don't know right now. So, but I'm gonna leave it on pattern. That's where I was. These are CCs if you're using MIDI. You can set CC levels on your track. You can do program changes to tell, like on this particular preset right now, which is A03, if I was using MIDI and I knew that I wanted Bank 2 program 1 on my MIDI device, I could do that. And then on preset A04, I could swap that again, which is actually a very freaking cool thing. And that's it. That's all your sequence control pages. And we've gone through everything except for fill and mask, because I don't know. Mask is very new. It has to do with the subsequencer, it looks like, and also external inputs. Oh, that's cool. I bet you this would step externally. It's probably like gate and velocity, but it's using the subsequencers and external inputs and a modulation sequencer. So I have to learn about them. They're pretty new to this newer firmware too. Okay. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
This is yeah, I'm uh I'm definitely learning something about this. I used the vector for performance, but obviously I didn't do too much of a deep dive
Mm-hmm.
because I missed like half of what we're talking about or what you're showing
Mm-hmm.
right now. So
Yeah.
hooray.
Well, let's actually go through another performance thing then. We'll go through, because I haven't talked at all about presets and scenes. I've shown them a little bit, but I haven't really talked about them. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to set my part to be the kick again real quickly. And I'm actually going to get rid of. By the way, I think there's a global setting that allows you. See clear right now. S plus E plus W8. So I guess that's Shift plus Edit. Although I was doing Shift plus Q. I don't know, but it works. I'm holding down Shift, Q, and clear. This is actually another feature that I asked Jim for. And the reason was when I was going back and forth between presets, like if you're on AO1 right now and you want to make a similar preset, right? Like right now I have this one with that extra kick every 3 bars. If I wanted to just slightly modify this, instead of copying and pasting it to a new slot, you can hit Shift and preset up here. It says DUP, which is for duplicate. Boom, there you go, right? But here's the weird thing. In my brain, when I'm working and I'm deep into writing something, sometimes my fingers would get confused between that and this. And I would hit Shift, delete, and I would delete a preset that I was working on. And there's no way to undo that, right? So I was like, can you make it harder for me to delete something? This is what I asked him, like just make it harder, make it a different key command. And it really pissed a bunch of people off that use the sequencer, which I find really funny, but it did. A lot of people just didn't like it. They were like, no, this messes everything up. So Jim, in his ultimate kindness, has put a couple of different ways to do it in here. So you can just do Shift, clear, or Shift plus Q plus clear. I don't know what the E means, but it's definitely the Q button. So for me, Shift Q is the way to go. And then I don't delete things by mistake. But I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to duplicate. Boom, boom, boom. And we're the same. But now I want to do this. Okay. And then I'm going to Shift duplicate. And I'm going to go in here and on this one, I'm going to okay, so now I have 3 patterns. In fact, why not just do one more because it's so quick and easy. We'll turn off 9, we'll throw on 12, we'll turn off 13. All right, so that one's a little bit crazier. And I'm going to hold down part, click 2, part 2 for my ultra perk, which currently says snare. And I'm going to delete these guys because they were ones we were messing around with earlier. And I'm going to go to 1 and unmute it so we can hear it. All right, so I think we're on 9. Yeah. We're at 133. I told you we were at the same BPM. So, cool. So, simple snare. Shift duplicate. A3. I like that better. Turn the velocity down there and the velocity up here. Okay. And then go in here again, and now we're gonna do cool, and we'll do one more. Except this time okay, cool. now I've got 4 parts for my kick and 4 parts for my snare. I'm not gonna bother with any other voices right now because it'll just take too long to do. Um, but there's 2 pages, preset and scene. I've been on the presets for the various parts to switch between the parts. You know you hit part and the part number. So I'm on kick, and now I'm viewing those 4 presets. And if I go to the snare, I'm viewing those 4 presets. The next page is, you have to think about it like, I know most people watching this are probably familiar with Ableton Live, right? So actually, let's turn that off for a second. I'm going to hit Q now to enable that track. So this is all of my voices right now that I have hooked up to this sequencer. Currently, they're all silenced. They're all little rest notes, right? Except for one here. So on this one, if I do AO1 and AO1 and I hit Q, and now here, and I can leave that at AO1. And now here, we'll leave that, and we'll go AO2. AO3, and I'll just do AO4. Okay, so I will explain again what I'm doing. So I used the encoders beneath their respective parts to enable the various presets that I have available to me. If you notice, I cannot turn past AO4, and you see how it's italicized and sort of grayed out. That's just telling me, what the hell is that telling me? I don't know what the italicized was. I thought it only did that when you've reached the end, but regardless, I can't go past 4 because there is nothing else in that. It's just those. So the 9th encoder over here you use to navigate. The highlighted track, thickly highlighted through the center, is the currently playing, I don't know what he calls these actually, scenes. They're scenes. It's the currently playing scene. You'll notice the brighter line along the top and along the bottom move down here. So that's like your cursor. It's what's selected. Now I'm selected on 3. Now I'm selected on 2. Now I'm selected on 1. But you'll also notice that it's always the center, right? Like, it's always the center one out of these 3. And you can scroll through. You've 40 of these. I don't know if the number of those change if you increase your steps for your presets. I don't think it does. I think it's always 40. I found that 40 is quite a lot. But I do use up the 40 almost every single time I write something for a live piece. I use all 40. And sometimes I wish there was 60. But, no big deal. Right now, we got 6. And I'll go to 2. Okay, so on this last one here, I'm actually gonna leave that on, but I'm gonna turn the kick all the way to the left so that it's muted. So now, if you want some kind of transition. And then I can go back. Or I could go 4 there and 2 here. I have our, this was the craziness. Mute the kick. Keep the snare the same. Bring in a fill. The fill you can't do, or what I just did, you can't do with the vector. That's something else. So, well, I know you know what that is. My confundo funkitus, however you say that. But so that is essentially presets. Did you do this for your last live show?
Not in the way that you did. Each preset. So the way that I do my performances, I heavily use the mixer.
You also
because I have
were using this a lot,
the
weren't
launch pad as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I use the absolute shit out of this in my performances because there's 2 screens that make it really handy. There's the mutes, and so you can mute the individual parts if you have. It supports, I think, up to 2 drum parts, so you can mute the individual parts within those drum parts, in addition to muting the other parts as well. You can also change the scene on the launchpad, and there's another screen where it has the whole. I don't want to say it's the whole list, but there's a list of, or the grid is filled out with the different parts or the different presets per part.
Right.
It's not all of them, but you can kind of on the fly create your own scenes without changing your current scenes.
So I've used it maybe once for a performance, maybe twice. I can't exactly remember, but it was definitely during lockdown. And I really enjoyed it. It was really nice. What was cool was being able to play a melodic voice. I liked that, being able to play a melodic voice live with this that was in my system. But putting that aside, maybe in an upcoming episode, since I don't know much about this and you seem to know a lot more about how to use a launchpad to control vector, maybe you should take me through that, because I'd love to learn that,
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to. The performance of being able to perform on the vector, it's fairly straightforward. But it's key combos and kind of knowing the UI well enough to be able to do that kind of stuff on time, right?
Yeah.
Whereas on the and you don't really have to do it on time, because the vector doesn't change scenes or anything until it reaches the end of the full sequence, right?
Well, that depends. That's what I went through earlier. Like, it depends on sequence control 4 page, right?
Right.
It depends on your preset sync. So if, for instance, you were using a launchpad and this were set to none, it would immediately go.
Happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I usually have it here. So
yeah.
Yes.
And it was a major reason also why I switched from my previous sequencing method, which was a couple of variegates with the confundo. Because when you switch the presets on the variegates, it's immediate.
Yeah.
You can't. I never found a way to change that, if that is even a thing.
It's not. It's one of the things that annoyed me about it, actually, because no matter how good my timing is, it always felt a little bit off, even when I got the timing so close. It's just, it just never seemed, I don't know. And sometimes when you're playing a live show and you're manipulating a lot of freaking potentiometers and buttons and things, Um, uh, it's just it's something that you don't want to have to worry about is your sequences going out of sync with each other. Um,
Plus, plus, honestly, if you're trying to manage preset changes and things like that, it kind of takes away from the other aspects of the performance, twiddling the knobs and all of that stuff,
yeah,
right? It's basically all you're spending your time doing is switching sequences because you have so much to keep in sync that way.
yeah. Well, that's actually
So
what's cool
go ahead.
about the and actually probably I should use the launchpad more because I know it's easier to switch scenes on that than it is here, but I am very used to this. You know, if we're running, all you do is hit Q, right? When you
Yeah.
go to each one, you select what you need and you hit Q. And I have this muscle memory right now where I can also do the and I'll get my little fills in there if I want to do fills, you know. So it's kind of cool. And
And as you said, it's the muscle memory. It's however you decide to perform. I was
yeah,
fully invested in the Maleko setup. I had at one point three varigate eights and two voltage blocks separated by a confundo and a morphator. Ridiculous
yeah,
trying to keep that all going.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's a lot, you know, and also with all of those sequencers, you would have to clock them, connect the clocks together. Although I think it did that,
bus,
yeah, through the bus. But also reset was another thing too that you had to worry
yep,
about.
reset
So yeah,
and run. I had to hit everything at the same time.
yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah,
So those are not a problem here. You know, getting down like if I wanted to go from pattern 39 to pattern 2 or something, that takes a few seconds. You know, like it's not super fast. It's also not too slow. Like you can scroll through super fast, but it's not kind of an instantaneous thing. So I could see how the launch pad would be a little bit better. But I've never. I tend to do my show as a progression, right? Like
yeah.
everything goes through, and in fact, I usually do it in sections. Like maybe the first section will go up to 11 or something, and then I might know, like in my head, all right, I go up to 4, but then I'm going back to 2 for a little while, and then 3, and I also improvise too, like which patterns I might want to play. Sometimes I feel like, you know, maybe something should go for a little bit longer because the crowd is responding to a particular section.
Hmm.
So that's what I do, you know, that's how I tend to do it anyway. Um, yeah, so I feel like I want to show maybe one more thing, and then maybe we'll call it quits. Let me go back to the Hertz donut, and we'll go to our presets, and we'll enable Hertz donut here, and okay. Except I'm gonna actually get rid of this. Goodbye. Um, I'm gonna make it a little bit simpler. Okay. Okay. All right. So for preset 1, I have one note.
Hmm.
I'm gonna shift, hit preset scene to duplicate, and now I'm on 2, so I can go in here and I can edit. What? I don't want to be in D-Door. notice that changed immediately. So I'm going to go back to set the preset sync to bar. And now I'm going to put that up one notch. All right. So super simple. They're both incredibly simple. Now, these patterns are far too simple. You wouldn't want to use this for a pattern like this. If you want a really long note, you can do things like change the rate. I often do that. I will mix rates on each sequence, might have its own rate, so that I could have, you know, a note from the Hertz donut that lasts for, you know, I don't know, 15 bars or something, just for a really long time. And you can do that just by turning everything down, you know. But what I want to do here is go here into this screen. Okay, so we're on preset, but on the previous and the next, if you hit next, it just goes here. You hit previous, it goes here. So it's like flipping between these here. But if you hit previous when you're on this screen, you get this other magic page, right? Right now, this says play for 4 bars, then go to none. Typically, this should say play forever, right? Because that's what you want it to do. You want a preset to play until you switch the preset, at least in my head. But what if I wanted it to play for 3 bars and then go to AO2? Maybe 3 bars was too long. You know what? I might not have enabled it. See this here? So, all right, I went to general. Let's get out of here real quick. I went to global general, and I'm going to the next sections. It is the 4th general page. Follow is set to no. If I turn follow set to yes, then this will actually work. I think these are called follow actions. It'll play for 3 bars and then go to 4. Or maybe it's not called follow actions. I don't know. It's not doing it again. Let's have it play for 1 bar. And let's go to 2. And let's have 2 play for 1 bar and then go to 1. Okay. Clearly, there is a setting somewhere that I have not enabled because this is currently not working. You get what I'm going for here, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. On the main global page, forget about this follow thing for now. On the main global page, playlist. Turn playlist on. Okay. So now let's shift clear. And then it goes to AO3 because if I go here, I said loop to AO1. Maybe it does do that? Let's find out. So it goes to 2. And then it's jumping to 3. Oh, that's kind of weird. Don't you think? So you can actually scroll through all of your presets in the playlist right here, which is easier than me going back and forth here. So AO1, play for 1 bar, then go to AO2. Okay, that's doing it right. Let's go play for 2 bars, and then go. Oh, I have it looped to AO1, then go to AO2. Okay, so loop to repeat. All right, so I've never used the loop stuff before. I've just chained patterns before like this. So now they should be kind of infinitely chained. Don't ask me why it just did that. Let's find out again here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Oh, then go to AO2. It needs to go to AO1. Wait a second. Yeah. And then it's repeat. Let's just repeat twice for now. Why is this not working? There it goes. Okay. I think that there might be a infinity repeat so that they can constantly be chained to go back and forth. And the reason I'm showing this is because this is another way. We were talking the other day about subsequencers and chance operations to extend the 16 steps that you have. This is another way, to extend that. You can chain them together. I don't use it very often. Clearly, it's obvious because I am stumbling through this. But I did know how at least to chain those things. It just took me a little while to get there. And the infinity repeat will keep it from going to 3, which is good. The one thing that I noticed, though, which I thought was a little weird, I don't know if you noticed this, but maybe I have to, let's go to 2, 8, okay, it's my fault for where I put the break in the gates. I noticed it not playing the note right away when it would switch, and that was very confusing to me. So, but I didn't put the break at the end. So now let's actually double check this and go back to infinity. So we have AO1 playing for 1 bar, although originally I wanted it to play for 3, so we're going to do that. And then I want AO2 playing for 1 bar, looping back to AO1 infinitely. And that means until you switch, right? So here we go into the preset scenes, right? And it says AO1, but it has a little arrow next to it. That means that there is a playlist attached to it. So voila. So if I did something with AO3 and AO4 and put that here, the infinite looping stops because I've selected a new preset. Or if there's no preset, it'll turn off. But while AO1 or AO2 are activated, that will go infinitely if either one of those is selected. So presets, that's these. We learned duplicate, we learned clearing, we learned how to name presets if you want. We talked about playlists a little bit, and we talked about scenes. And I think that's kind of pretty much, it's most of the stuff that has to do with presets. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Do you think you'll use playlists? Because I know,
Yes, actually.
yeah. See, that's the thing. I know a lot of everyone except me seems to want to use them. I, I don't for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I'll tell you one thing. For what I just did, excuse me. If I go to AO3,
Hmm.
and let's just make sure that that's playing forever. And oops, sorry. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Turn my gates on. I break them both, and um. So now I have this. For me, instead of doing this, what I would do in this particular case is I would go into my subsequencer and I would say I want this to be 4 steps and I want it to be now hold on. Yeah. I'll reduce it for now so we don't have to wait so long. I'll just go to whole notes. And then I would turn on transpose, enable transpose, and on the last one, which, if I go to AO1, it's a little longer because I did 3 bars, but it's basically the same thing, right? So playlists to me feels a little bit like you're wasting a preset. Like that's in my head. That's how I see it, is like, oh crap, now I can't use, I don't have an extra preset now, but I can do the exact same thing if I use a subsequencer. But I can also see how training them would make a hell of a lot of sense, for a lot of people. It's just people's brains work differently, so different people do different things.
Yeah, it's all about organization,
Yeah.
honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So, I don't know. You want to call it quits?
Yeah, I want to see what the hell's up with my audio.
Yeah, check it out. Because it would be nice to
Yeah,
um have you go through some of that stuff, especially if you're going to show me how to use the Launchpad.
for sure.
Yeah. Next week, I'm actually in New York at the New York Modular Society Synth Swap.
Ah,
Yeah. So we'll be skipping next week, but
we'll likely have to skip the end of the month one as well. I've got plans that upcoming week.
that's fine. Or maybe we'll switch it to a different day or something, but we'll pick it up again
Right.
soon for part 3. Yes.
The
All right,
launch
man.
pad.
Yeah. Launchpad. We'll do Launchpad, and maybe we'll do some other weird stuff too. Like one of the things that I was doing in this, I'll just show you real quick. It'll only take a couple seconds. In this thing that I was working on the other night, it's not going to sound the way it did because all the levels in my mixer are changed now. But let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, that's wrong. All right. This doesn't sound quite right, like the way that I had it, and it's not right.
You may want to
Um,
check your global settings.
Maybe, but no, maybe I didn't save something. That's the only thing I can imagine because this is totally wrong. Or maybe I did it on 2? Uh-huh. Okay. Would have been nice to set up a scene for this. I bet you I did it on 2. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Let's just turn off the piston Honda. We don't need to hear it. Um, okay, so as you can hear, this is a very odd rhythm.
Hey, I need 1 second.
Yeah.
I'll see what it is.
Oh, it's fine. Um, the reason it is so odd is if you look at my rate and my mode right now, I'm doing um, fractional beats for this thing. So I'm at divide by 7, and the length is 14 because 14 is a multiple of 7. So that gives me 14 steps. I could also make this 7 steps, but my kick, that's what follow is. God damn it. I don't like follow. Turn follow off. Okay. So, basically, the distance between. All right, here I'll explain this in a different way. I'll explain this in a very logical way, real quick, and then we can go through building it the next time. But if I go to fractions, right? And let's just go to 4 steps, and I have kick, and just turn those all on. So now I'm getting double the speed, or double the amount. I'm reducing the size of these steps by 2, division of 2, right? So in this space of this quarter note, we call this a quarter note, because if they're all 16ths, then that would be a quarter note. In that space, I'm getting more. And there's 4. But if you do 5, then it gets really weird. Because you can fit, things are just at different rates, and I wouldn't have all these on. All right, so that's like a fast kick, but if I go to my snare and I just have a clean preset, and I'm only 8 steps. Actually, let's go ahead and put it 1, 2. You hear how the kick is out of sync. Like it's moving a little bit faster because in this particular space, it's being divided by 5. So it's like moving 5 times as fast. Basically, I could get 5 hits in the space of a quarter note instead of 4 hits. So is the idea. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just fucking around with all these weird fractional time signatures to try and make some strange but still hypnotic rhythms. we'll see how it works out. All right. You're back.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Goodbye. Yeah. So yeah, we'll meet up again. All right.
Yeah.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
man. Cool. Take it easy. I'm gonna end the stream now. Bye, everyone.